Anti-Afro Svengalis. People, please listen up. Ask yourselves, is there anything new going on with Umar Johnson? What do you think? Well, I'll tell you this much. I have said it over and over again. Come here for the truth, not a rehash. The truth. Now, obviously, there are times when we take trips down memory lane. But coming here, you'll get the truth, you get new information. There is new information about Umar, but it's not an HVAC. Let me tell you what it is. Umar Johnson is making it unequivocally clear that he actually lives there. Now, people have stated it before, but he's making it clear. How is Umar Johnson making it clear that he lives at the abandoned bomb shelter that he keeps calling FDMG school? He put in a Home Depot heat and AC unit. It's not an HVAC. And let me stop right now to let you know exactly why it's not an HVAC for those of you who may question. There has not been any permits submitted or requested to licensing and inspection since February. And there are no permits for HVAC. It's bullcrap. There's no HVAC. Okay, so we're using just semantics. Heating and air, Home Depot style. It's all good. That's what Umar Johnson has. And give me a break. Have you ever seen an HVAC installer leaving paperwork around? What Umar Johnson is doing, let me tell you what he's doing. He picked a room where he was putting the heating and air, where nobody can see any light through any of the windows where he is living. Because he's living there and he needed to be near a window. Because there's a quandary here. Why do I have the Wilmington, Delaware forecast, not forecast, the temperature for today, the weather right here today in Wilmington, Delaware, 61 degrees with humidity at 57%. People, inside, if it's 57% humidity outside, the conditions inside are going to be, you better believe it, quasi-extreme. Now it's going to depend on who you are. Take inventory of yourself. I don't know Umar Johnson, but based on how he presents, just walking around, bending down to pick up things, he's huffing and puffing and stands to reason that he might get overheated pretty quickly. Now, let me tell you straight up, I can't tolerate air conditioning for any amount of time, probably less than 5 minutes. Now, I will run that heat up like you wouldn't believe, but air conditioning, and not even in the car. But Umar apparently needs that air conditioning, because when he comes back between these hyena yelps, which he is loading up on, that's a whole nother video, he absolutely needs a place to stay, and he does not want to be living in muggy conditions. And he doesn't want to be staying in the room where there is a window where you can see light. Remember, people, E&J had somebody on the ground, their recon, and they saw the window was open. Or at least it was cracked and you could see the light. People were living there. It was Umar's ex-quote worker and God knows who else. At that time, Umar didn't necessarily need to live there. Well, we knew that Umar and his ex-worker assistant were doing other things in there because that was caught on tape. Now think about back then during the winter. Yes, it's cold, but if it was true that other stuff was going on, you probably wouldn't be worrying about body temperature. And if lots of people were coming in and out of there and there was a lot of movement, you're not going to be really worried about body temperature, people. But if somebody has to actually live there and know they need to return there, they want to have the living conditions comfortable, at least partially comfortable, and they want to be incognito. Umar knew the sheriff was looking for him to serve him on that lawsuit. So if people are coming around looking, wouldn't Umar want people to say, I haven't seen any lights on in there? Umar can have all the lights he wants in that little room next to the gym. When I say little, it's good enough to have a bed in there and air conditioning and heat, right? That's all Umar Johnson is thinking about. It sure beats living under a bridge. So that's why Umar is so happy, because he has devised a plan. At least it's going to buy him some time, because where is he going to live? If you want to believe Umar was living at his mama's house, that's okay. But that's no longer an option, because we know Umar was booted. It's a matter of record that he was evicted from that apartment. Whether or not his mother was living there, who knows? Whose name was on the lease? Umar's was, or whatever, rental agreement. He needs a place to stay. And there's no sin that you need a place to stay, but you're not supposed to be living in a commercial building. So how long is this going to work? Number two, how long is that going to go about the electricity, because Umar's not paying the bills? And soon enough, that privilege is going to run out, because the COVID privileges are coming to an end. But that doesn't bother Umar, because he's in the here and the now. This is going to solve the problem now, while Umar continues on this hyena Yelp junket. You should hear one of his most recent videos, just like he was doing last summer, rattling off all of these hyena Yelps. Anti-fraud warriors are on the job. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry. We have scored success. Let them naysay. They don't know what's going on. Success. I'm going to be posting another video giving an update. Anti-fraud warriors, we know how to take care of business. We don't tolerate scambaggers. We don't tolerate thieves. We don't tolerate abusers. We don't tolerate liars, backstabbers, and treacherous, deceiving slime balls. We won't tolerate it. And this is what Umar Johnson's legacy is. And trust you me, people, he's got a lot of company. Watch who you associate with, especially people who try to perpetrate as if they are AFW. Who the hell knows why people do the things that they do? But we are very serious. And I also want to say this before I sign up on this video. It wasn't the anti-fraud warriors who initiated any sort of attack on anybody. The attacks were initiated on us. We simply defended ourselves, and we will continue to do that. Our focus was on Umar. Our focus wasn't on random people. Random people decided to start targeting us because, for whatever reason, let them figure it out. One thing for sure, never neglect to heed the warning. Buyer beware.